We're assuming that's the noise that the seagulls are making from the panel, but what if it's actually the noise of the ship creaking?
Oh,
these are deep,
and I mean,
deep thoughts.
Deep things to think about, and you can tell that me and you, we both have been on ships before and are very aware of the different types of sounds that creaking ships can make. Because we were pitch perfect. No difference between the way we were interpreting those screes. That's for sure.
I've been on like 3 boats in my life.
Yeah. No, I've been on a couple. A couple being 2. No, I don't know. Yeah.
And like being on boats is important because you know why, Jacob? Because we're
why?
The Grand Line Tourist Podcast. There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
I segued into it. The Grand Line Tourist Podcast, a chapter by chapter, examining or re-examining, depending on where you currently are in your life and your ability to read specific mangas about pirating, of Ichiro Oda's masterpiece, One Piece. I did it. Masterpiece and One Piece. I put them together in the same sentence, and now I'm kind of regretting it, but eventually I'm gonna make it work. It's gonna meld into itself.
No. It's recurring now. Masterpiece.
And it's good to be back. I know we took a little bit of a break overall. And Jacob, Jarecki, the person we named this whole podcast after, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm ready to jump back on the tour. I'm your tourist over here. I got my tour guide Eric Vu sitting there across the internet from me, and I'm excited. We got a really, really exciting chapter. We're all the way the big 4-3.
I know. Can you believe there's 43 of these episodes already? We're already 43 episodes in.
Yeah, it's wild. I think 43. I think it's a prime number. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Any mathematologists out there?
Well, it's definitely one number above The Secret of Life. So there we go.
Eric,
we got it.
Yes.
With the deep reference.
Deep
there.
Douglas Adams cut there. Woo.
Yeah. Before we get to the itinerary, though, I believe you mentioned that we have some letters.
Yeah. I'm gonna hitchhike over to the post office here, grab a letter, and it's one of our favorite listeners has written in. Christian. He started off. He wants to tell us about his favorite arcs. He went ahead and ranked them the same way that we did, and number 1, the Buggy arc. Solid choice.
Okay,
we got
that's a good choice.
Number 2, Romance Dawn. Another solid.
Wow.
All these choices are gonna be solid. Let me get through them. 3, we'll see if and then we'll talk about if there's anything. What to say about it. 3, Axe Hand Morgan arc. 4, Usopp arc. 5, Kobe arc, and then what's left? I think that's all of them, right? You get them all? Or are we missing some arcs there?
I'm amazed that he separated Kobe because Kobe really only had like a chapter, and then they get into the Axe Hand Zola arc. So
I think this is Christian trying to communicate with me and let me know that Kobe's a super important character.
You think that's what it is? You think that
he's sending me? He's trying to give me tinfoil hat tips. It's brilliant. I appreciate it very much. Kobe's coming back, and it's gonna be big.
All right.
Bigger than we expect. And then he wrote a bit more, and he even said a few other interesting things about my character progression. I am a character in this podcast journey that we're on, obviously. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've got a master law degree, something, yada, yada. I needed some character progression, and Christian has pointed it out and let me know that he remembers when Jacob first started, Luffy slammed a lion on its head, and, Jacob was really worried by that violence, It shook me, so to speak.
It did shake me. I remember this.
And Christian goes on to say that he didn't say anything during the Usopp arc. So is that character progression for Jacob? Because there's lots of bloody and mess going on. Like, Usopp's always covered with blood in that arc. So, I think that is character progression for me. I am becoming desensitized to violence.
To cartoon violence.
Desensitized to cartoon violence. I think I was already desensitized to, real violence from Tarantino films, but now even in cartoon violence, I'm not even. I didn't know I needed to be desensitized in the different art styles, but there we go. Another one.
You were very worried about Richie. I remember this. You were like, "Is Richie dead?" Because he just gavelled Richie into the floor. Is what you did.
I know.
And that wasn't even the least of it. Richie got thrown all around in that arc too. Later on, after that, the gavel was just the beginning, and then he got chucked over. Man, that poor lion. I
had to become desensitized. It totally makes sense. I couldn't have made it through if I didn't. Also, Jacob said something about 10 crew members, and if you look at the second to last page of Chapter 1 at the bottom, something potentially noteworthy is said, and I went ahead and looked back, and we got Luffy staring out into the ocean. First things first, I've got to get a crew. I think about 10 men should do. So, I mean, if that's not proving of my ability to tinfoil hat some awesomeness, or if it's just my ability to remember something that I've already read.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is that really a tinfoil if you just remembered a fact?
Don't question it. This is character progression. This is clearly, there's, someone maybe has a favorite character of this podcast, I feel like Christian maybe maybe a little bit pro-tourist here. That's
because you are... You're less. I mean, like you are essentially Orlando Bloom's character from the first Pirates of the Caribbean. You know what I mean? Like you.
I don't know if I like being compared to that.
Oh well, too bad. Like you are obviously like the main character of the story, sure, but you also like know nothing. You're a proxy audience member, essentially what you are, right? But me,
I don't have to act at all.
I'm Johnny Depp's. I am Jack Sparrow.
Everyone loves Johnny Depp in that movie.
And he's fantastic in that movie, in the very first movie, at least. He gets very more ridiculous later on. But this is just how it is. It's okay. I concede the lead character spot to you because I've always been into being, the cool side character anyways.
Okay, fine, Mr. Cool Side Character. Take us, you know what? As the cool side character, you can get... What are we doing today, cool side character?
All right, well, let me
know
read
what's going on.
Itinerary for us. That's me flapping the paper straight as I do this. We have reached the Baratie, I believe is how we're pronouncing it. Yeah? How did you read? Yeah?
I would have said... I might have said Baratie, but I'm willing to...
Like a little French, right?
As my unknown Orlando Bloom mind, it's ready to be impressed upon by whatever happens to be there. But I do want to point out, we are on, I don't know if we mentioned it, Chapter 43 entitled Sanji.
You're right.
Let's continue.
Right.
You're right. We're on the... You wanted to get to the cool, the cool place, the cool ocean-going restaurant, the Baratie. The Baratie? Say it one more time for me.
I think I said Baratie, I think.
Baratie. I like it. No, it's more fun. That's better. I got
obviously, like you just mentioned, is an ocean-faring restaurant. On the way there, they run into an off-duty Navy ship carrying the one and only Lieutenant Iron Fist Fullbody.
Iron Fist Fullbody.
Just two cool words put together is all that name is. He insults Luffy and the gang. He beats up on Johnny and Yosaku, and then he decides to let them go because, hey, he's off duty. He's gonna go eat lunch, a very fancy lunch with, I assume, a lady based off of just the dialogue bubble and the lettering of the dialogue bubble.
Oh yeah.
And then after he beats up on the two bounty hunters, a bounty flyer, like one of those bounty flyers, fall out, and Nami picks it up, and Nami's like, "What's this?" And they mention that Johnny, or I forgot which one it was, mentions that, "Oh, that's just a bounty flyer. That's what we get if we kill a pirate." That's how much they're going for and all that fun stuff.
Indeed.
As Lieutenant Fullbody is floating away towards the restaurant, he decides, why not? Let's just sink the merry-go, and he shoots a cannonball straight at them. At which point Luffy goes, I can block it, I swear. And Luffy blows himself up. He does his gum balloon, catches the cannonball, as we've seen him do from the Buggy arc. And we know that this is effective, but he completely misses the Navy ship and ends up hitting...
He ain't no Usopp when it comes to his aim. That's all I'm saying.
No, he's not. He hits the restaurant. He hits the restaurant pretty hard. Everybody freaks out. They laugh. No one laughs. I think they're all a little worried that they might have killed somebody just now. This is...
Traumatized.
We flash forward after this moment to Fullbody actually eating in the said restaurant now. He's eating with, a beautiful lady, so we guessed right based off the dialogue bubble. And he's getting some wine poured from who we think is a waiter, and he drinks the wine and he spouts off some wine knowledge, kind of like a bougie person, trying to be like a bougie, not a knowledgeable person. He says all these different things about the wine, only for Sanji to answer, or the waiter. We don't know his name is Sanji yet. For the waiter to answer, "Oh, you're dead wrong about this wine. Like whatever you just said is not this wine." We find out that Fullbody assumed that he paid enough money and decided on, essentially everything was choreographed and written out. He was supposed to get a specific wine that he was talking about.
I know, it's such a kind of like a baller player move. It's pretty interesting. That's like one of the first things he does, right? Is like, I'm gonna show off on the Baratie with my wine knowledge here by paying it off. It's crazy.
Right, exactly. But like remembering this script and making sure that if we get the right wine.
Yeah.
Later on, the waiter corrects himself. The waiter, now that we know as Sanji, corrects him, letting him know, I'm not a waiter. I am the assistant chef here. And you were wrong about this wine. Like, you're an idiot. The whole restaurant laughs. Full Body doesn't like that because he's a lieutenant in the Navy. He's crummy. So he knows that he's like, I can kind of get what I want, and I don't like being laughed at. We now, again, go to another part of the restaurant where we find Chef Zeph, who has been injured by said cannonball that was shot by Luffy. Some of the cooks have dragged Luffy up to Zeph's room and say, Chef Zeph, this is the guy who did it. Luffy admits he did it, and Luffy says that I'm willing to pay you back for the injuries that I've caused. Zeph goes, okay, that's fine. I'll make you work. I'll make you work to earn it back because Luffy has no money. And Zeph goes, you need to work a whole year without pay. And then we finally flash back to the main dining room where Full Body has come up with another scheme to shame Sanji for making him look silly earlier. What he's decided, and this is very extravagant, is to put a fly in the soup and be like, there's a fly in my soup. To which Sanji goes, okay, you can still eat it, you can do whatever you want. And the Full Body attacks the table, smashes everything, spills the soup. He goes, I'm not eating this. You need to give me a new soup. Sanji looks at the spilled soup, gets very upset, and then next thing we know, Sanji has beat Iron Fist Full Body into a bloody pulp, literally, and holding him by his neck.
I know.
And
Ooh.
that is the end of the chapter. Like, that's how that chapter ends.
Exactly, and it ends it right where we need it to, at a moment where I need to be desensitized to cartoon violence. It doesn't affect me at all, Eric. Nothing.
No, it shouldn't. And all of this over some
wafts
spilt
right
soup.
over me.
Over some spilt soup.
Nabbit.
We are in it. And I just want to say that this, and some of you all, with some of our fans who have listened to this podcast, who see our logo and all that good stuff, the Baratie is actually the very first reference sticker I have on our luggage.
What? Oh my goodness! How did I didn't even know this.
Yeah,
this is
it's
like
on there.
A big moment.
It's on there. Yeah.
Awesome.
We need to pull it up. Actually, I feel like you and I both are trying to pull it up right now.
Oh yeah, no, we're just like we're waffling and saying like, oh no, we're gonna get there. Actually, I don't. What is even the best way to do it? I guess Spotify is a player. Actually, no, I have it's gonna be in my subscription feed on my own podcast player, non-sponsored Pocket Cast. If the listeners out there want to know my podcast player of choice, and it is coming up in Pocket Cast.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I got logged out of my podcast account.
Oh, it is the top left. Is the top left here. I'll even, because we are talking over Discord, I'll even share my screen so you can kind of get it. And if you guys are all just listening to this, because obviously we're an audio podcast, obviously. Go ahead and take a moment and just look at our little logo there. But it is the top left corner. That's the first sticker that I designed, and that's the very first one that shows up on this. Well
done. Wait, you said you designed that sticker. Do you mean that like you made up a sticker for the Baratie, or is it based off of what details did you pull from the Baratie itself?
No, I just made a sticker for it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it
nice.
says Baratie and then it says East Blue, I believe is what it says there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, very good.
Yeah.
No, that is a wonderful detail, Eric. You know what? This is wonderful because one of the things I often bring up that I love about One Piece is just that the little details matter, right? And so this is us, pulling an Odaism in our logo, and making the little details matter. So no, that's beautiful and brilliant. Thank you for doing that.
Since we're already talking about the Baratie, what's your opinion about the design of this ship, of this restaurant that's just floating?
It's cool. I mean, I think maybe more so than if looking at it, it's got this crazy fish mouth, and it's kind of interesting how low it sits in the water. But besides all that, I think this is one of the first things that really has excited my brain about the world of One Piece. I think maybe the first thing was the whole layout of the world with this perpendicular land strip and then this grand line. But this is, I think, the coolest idea. I was like, you know what? Yeah, a restaurant in the middle of somewhere, in the middle of the ocean, and it serves people. It just is cool. And I think over the past couple of years, I've been a little bit more into, I think, cooking and food culture and restaurants. So is also playing into my more as of late personal interest, like of how the world works and what we do. So like, cool stuff. You know, I was really digging that we got like, you know, chefs are now like main characters, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know, I'm excited for this arc for sure.
No, I think this is probably the strongest start to an arc so far, since we've started. And I think this is because, we're 43 chapters, like you mentioned. If it's a chapter a week back in the day, what is that? That's 53 weeks into this job that he has.
Yeah.
Of being like this popular and getting like a I think a few chapters ago he talked about how that he barely got his first like anime movie little thing. And so I don't even know if there's an anime at this point. But it's cool, and I think he's like really coming into his craft as Ichiro Oda as we know him. And I agree with you. I think this is what you want out of a adventure manga like this, which is like very cool designed locations that our characters get to experience the next arc of this story. And it's awesome. And I also think this panel they have, we see the merry-go as our like reference, like the point, like behind the head shot, and then we see the Baratie in front of us. Great. I think that's so cool as a panel overall. Just something for you to kind of like salivate over.
Yeah.
Like, so awesome.
Oh man, I mean, little details matter. Like, I'm bad at picking out, you know what, the things that are closest to you in a panel. I want some, you know, some other tourist out there to write and just let me know that they always miss the things that are close to you in the frame. Like, we are looking out over the merry-go, and it is incredibly obvious that's what we're looking out of.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so in the moment, I only see the background, you know? But the foreground is just as cool. So
yeah, and it makes you feel like you're seeing it for the first time, just like Luffy and the rest of the crew. You're literally, as the reader, part of the Luffy pirates right now, looking at this ship for the very first time.
Well, and I'm gonna bring up something that maybe a little too early, but you can let me know. Speaking of the idea of missing things in the foreground, right? Things that are close to the panel. I'm gonna detract us a little bit from the start of this arc to look at the start of this chapter, the Buggy's crew after the battle, part 7 from the. Yeah. The thing that I mean, it's so obvious, but it took. I think I only saw it on my second reading. You can see. Oh, but I'm gonna forget the character's name. Sadly. Oh, it's a cool name.
Afro I remember
stuck
it.
In a chest. And I feel like I answered it in a quiz recently, so I should be able to get it right.
He his name is very similar to the guy who wrote Sandman.
I feel like, do I have a G? There's a G in this name, isn't there?
Yeah. Do you know who the writer of the Sandman comic book is?
Oh, is it just Gaiman? It's just Gaiman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is an example of something I missed in the foreground the first time I looked at this panel, which is the island of random rare animals, which is also a great clue, just knowing where we left Gaiman off last. But you can, even if you didn't put all that together, you can see this nice afro of Gaiman stuck in the chest in the front right foreground of the panel. And I was really proud to catch that detail, even though I caught it quite late, only today before this recording, even though I'd read the chapter before as well.
No, I'm so glad you brought that up. That was actually a point I had, and we don't need to talk about it anymore because you brought it up, which is awesome.
Look at that.
And also,
Tourist making the teacher proud.
I think you have a tinfoil guess that we were going to see Gaiman again.
I'm pretty sure I do, and I think
so. I'm writing that down. That is one tinfoil. That's correct.
Yes. Even though he's not in. He hasn't fully appeared yet, but I feel like we're getting a lot of character development from Buggy, or at least a lot of plot. Maybe not so much character development. So
we are. It's only been 7 covers, and we got a good amount. Yeah,
this is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're getting his own little journey. Okay, so now I want to ask you about, since we're still kind of talking about the Baratie, let's start with the first character we see, which is Sanji. What do you think about this character, this design, our nameplate on page? What page did he get his nameplate on? Page 12.
Yeah,
so that'd be 160 for you.
No, it's interesting. I think the nameplates may have been the most interesting they've been so far in the manga. Specifically because a couple pages before, we get like the nameplate for Lieutenant Fullbody. Yeah. And the font that's used on his nameplate just kind of like it's different. I think that I don't remember in the
Yeah.
past if other characters have had different fonts for their nameplates. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think he did a lot with the fonts in this arc so far.
No,
actually.
yeah, no, I had that written down. So I'm super excited that like, oh, now like it's almost like you get a. I don't know what the fonts necessarily say. Full bodies seem very more rigid than Sanji's do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fonts of Sanji almost like line up with the way he's standing tall. It almost looks like he's the letter I.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He just I'm not exactly sure which elements of the font are gonna, how they read into the characters yet, because I don't know them too well.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Sanji, and I want to say, I think the most interesting character to me this chapter though may have been Full Body over Sanji. This idea of the insecure, attempting to be suave naval captain is I think a very intriguing one. Like this fact that he kind of has this inner dialogue in his head where he, says, "Oh, but I worked that out with the waiter before. Why isn't this working?" Very interesting.
This lieutenant guy. Yeah. I just noticed this now for this nameplate. He has one soup in his hand and the other one's on his head. I thought that was part of the top panel, but he's holding it. He's too cool, man. He has one hand in his pocket.
For not being a waiter, right? For just being the assistant chef, he sure can carry those plates. He worked his way. This is, you don't, when you go into the restaurant industry arc, you start low and then you get high. He's gone through it, He's good. He's good at all the jobs. I don't know. Wait, okay. Am I missing something? Should I know why the waiters jumped ship yesterday? I don't think I should.
I don't think we should. I don't think there's any sort of context clue for that.
No. I just thought it is quite an interesting line. You're like, wait, all the waiters jumped ship yesterday. What happened? Which does, it does leave some weird feelings about what kind of restaurant we're in. Yep,
I think so too. I think that's what they're trying to establish is like this.
Yeah, this is a strange place.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's tables, there's patrons, they're eating. Yeah. I mean, there's wine. There's it seems like a restaurant.
So let's talk about the very other character, like the other nameplate of this chapter, which is Chef Zeph.
Chef Zeph.
What do you think of him? Like a little bit of a Viking sort of feel, right?
I think the tall hat. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's just.
I think this Chef Zeph's probably one of my. I think since Gaiman, he's probably my favorite character. Like design, just to show up right away. He's just good.
The hat. You're so right. Like the hat is so tall. It bathed the other one.
It's just tall enough. Any taller, and you like. I wouldn't like. I could imagine a visual gag where you never see the top of the hat. Like you always see Chef Zeph, and you never see the top, and that would be interesting too. Like this hat of infinite length, but this is like just the right amount. That's way too tall for a hat, but it's there, and you can see it, and it starts and it ends, and that's his hat. I like it. And
this continues the theme of One Piece, where people are missing certain limbs. He obviously has a peg leg.
We may have called it out before. But, like, just give me some... I guess we got,
Axe Hand Morgan.
Limbs. Oh, yeah, Axe Hand Morgan.
Mm-hmm. Axe Hand Morgan. That we saw that he loses because Kuro stepped on it or stabbed it or something. In the flashback. Yeah. So that was that one. I think that might be it overall.
Okay.
So
No. But it's cool to kind of keep track. Like, it's a way to... kind of add some expressiveness and some weirdness to a character that, makes sense in the pirating world, right? We're all aware of, this was the very classic one, right? The peg leg,
Oh, and then Shanks. Sorry, that's a big one. Shanks has no arm.
Yeah. And we actually know why that one we actually know the backstory for that, too.
Yeah, we saw the backstory of that happen in real time, right? So this is such a pirate thing, too, right? There's always a pirate missing a leg.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love him. I think he's such a cool design. He's bleeding. He's also just like an awesome person because he got shot with a cannonball and he's still fine.
Now,
which is awesome.
There's one thing that could be on your list to talk about, but I want to bring it up potentially because it is something I learned from you to pay attention to, which was this idea of who's more powerful than who.
Yes.
And it is a very interesting chapter for it because we have it goes quite a few different directions. We initially have Yosaku and is it Johnny?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. It's just one of their names is wild and one's a little more normal. So I was like, wait, did I have it right? Yosaku and Johnny go against Lieutenant Iron Fist body, right?
Yep.
Like Lieutenant. No, that's right. No, I'm missing full body. Lieutenant Iron Fist full body. And they lose. They lose, right?
Real bad, yeah.
Well, we'll get to real bad in a second, but they lose for sure. And then Lieutenant Iron Fist goes up against Sanji and loses real bad, right?
Terribly, yeah.
And I didn't think I thought Yusako and Johnny were supposed to be pretty good, like not not just like your run of the mill. You can just steamroll background pirates.
Yeah.
Even though they're bounty hunters, but like yeah. So I just thought this is interesting. Like whoa, like when Sanji does it almost with no panels, no panels showing what he did. It's quite creepy, especially knowing the way his character looks as well. So I wanted to put that out there as like I noticed this lining up of the
yeah. I think they did it. That's why I was saying like he's very he feels very efficient with his storytelling so far. Or like here's the establishment currently of here's the establishment of power so far, right?
Yeah,
and it was like oh Sanji's up there now all of a sudden in this arc. Because we just saw what Full Body did. We already knew Full Body wouldn't be as strong, but now we can kind of gauge that Sanji's like well above Full Body, who wasn't like Full Body only beat Johnny and Yusako, like whatever, you know.
But, I wasn't sure. I think in my mind it was 2-on-1, and like you know the thing I'm going to bring in, which is quite interesting. This is going to be we're gonna jump a little bit early into a translation note corner because I got to share.
Okay.
The one line that I felt like I'll usually go and look it up for the lines that read weird to me, and the line that read weird to me in this chapter was Johnny and Yusako when they let's go fight Full Body, and then boom they're on the ground, right, and they say a hair's breadth from death, and then Luffy says, "Are you guys weak or what?" "No, he's really tough," and then they repeat a hair's breadth from death, right? Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what they mean by a hair's breadth from death, exactly. So I went ahead and read our alternate translation via, it's Stephen Paul, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I had the name right. It's like a two first name, then it feels wrong when you say it. But I went and read our alternative translation by Stephen Paul, and with the alternative translation is lost by a hair. And then Luffy says, are you sure you guys aren't just really wussy? And they say, no, he's pretty tough. Even we lost by a hair. So like it was in the original it was quite kind of like saying it was actually kind of emphasizing it was emphasizing the fact that Johnny and Yusako thought they were pretty tough and even they lost a Full Body. So I actually thought initially that whole page was supposed to actually kind of show a bit of Full Body's prowess, right? Or potentially, it could also be showing that Yosako and Johnny are just kind of fooled themselves and they're wrong. But I don't think so. They look kind of tough. I don't know. Unless we get more knowledge about them being completely untough. Yeah. I actually thought, with this new knowledge, that this is basically saying that Full Body's pretty tough, He took down two tough guys. But they're close, I mean, maybe Yosako and Johnny aren't, like, the toughest in the world, but, like, they think even we lost by a hair, right? Just a little bit.
And I think that translation makes them sound like that they put up a fight. I think our translation that we're reading,
our translation is different.
It makes them a joke, right?
Yeah,
like that's why because they said that almost death by like a hair's breadth or whatever. That's what they said in the last chapter. Remember, they kept saying that over and over again about like they just keep they double down really hard on that joke that they are always this close to death.
Right. Oh no! And then maybe that case, maybe the Paul translation did get me confused then, because maybe it is just supposed to be this running joke that they can never win and they're always a hair's breadth from death, as opposed to that they actually are tough and they just lost by a little bit.
It's up to interpretation. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. We'll have to see. Like I guess we need to see for me to understand. I need to see Yosako and Johnny get in a real fight, which I don't think we've seen yet.
Right.
I think they just lost to Luffy, right?
Yeah, but one did. Johnny lost to Luffy because Yusako.
Oh, the other was scurvy ridden.
The other one had scurvy.
Yeah, no. Okay, well, the power dynamics are established, but they're all not completely unmuddy. But I think we definitely got Sanji did something special to Full Body there real fast.
I wanted to say just before we move on from that last point is that he was like all jokes up until, and I don't know if you noticed it. When did he switch to get angry, I guess, in your opinion, like in this chapter?
Sanji, right?
Yeah.
It was at the food waste, right?
Yeah. Isn't
Yeah,
that
no,
interesting?
I like it. I like it. It's like it's fun. Okay, this is I pride myself in my ability to use up leftovers and to turn them into something that's pretty tasty. And so I can see it, like, hey, you're not gonna waste my food. I brought this out for you. I'm a chef, an assistant chef.
Yeah.
You could have ate that, right? You could have ate that.
He said that to him. He was like, if you just
I
move
know.
the fly, you could have still eaten this. And
You could
also
have ordered less sushi from this, all you can eat sushi buffet. You knew you eat that, or you can't box it up because it's one of those sushi restaurants that are all you can eat. So you got to eat it.
you gotta eat it. Also, like, what kind of weirdo has just a fly in your pocket?
That is very strange.
Yeah.
my goodness.
Full body. You're the weird one in this situation.
Definitely. Yep. He's the person who walks into Wendy's and tries to come out with a lawsuit on his hands.
Right? Like, oh my goodness. Okay, that's everything I have. Do you have any topics you want to talk about for the chapter so far?
I think just as a fun little note, I think it's at the end of the chapter we do get a question corner, right?
We have an SBS. Yeah, we do.
We had an FPS. The one thing I wanted to mention is just they mentioned somebody asks to Oda, like, you don't use zipatone much. Is there some reason? And he said, once you start pasting tone, there's no end. It takes time, yada, yada. And I'm just curious, do you know what zipatone or screen tone is?
I had to look it up, and I couldn't really find a definition.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a way to get a lot of texture. Like, so you kind of like, imagine like a sticker, and that sticker consists of like a bunch of crosses or like a bunch of like lines going left to
like
right.
A pattern
and you could,
something in it.
A pattern, yeah. And so you can easily, what you do is you can kind of like, you can take that sticker, cut it out into the shape of, well, maybe you're like, shading in the right half of somebody's hat, right? And you want to give it that texture. And you can kind of paste that in, and then it makes it like a really way to get a very regular pattern very quickly. And so this was just noting that Oda doesn't prefer to use that technique. And I just, it's kind of cool to see that, you'll kind of notice it now if you ever see other mangas and you see a very regular pattern. You're like, oh, that's that thing. That's that zipatone or the screen tone.
That he was talking about. Gotcha.
Yeah, so just a little fun note there that I read that. I like these things because they cause me to do a little bit more research, learn something. So yeah, give a look of somebody applying zipatone or screen tone on YouTube, and it's kind of fun just to see like, oh, look at that,
all right. I love these SBSs, man. They're always so much fun.
Yeah.
You always learn just a little bit. And he's like seriously just answering little kids' emails or like literal messages or stuff. It's great. It's great. He still does this. He still does an SBS now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, all these years later, the man still does the SBS stuff. And they're great. Now they're like, later on, there's like running jokes within it. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts how it's like its own little community. It's a Discord server before Discord servers were a thing. Like,
no, I like it. Like, I have some comics that I like that do the same sort of thing. And it is just really cool. You feel like you're a part of something that maybe, to be honest, isn't as overwhelming as a Discord server, Yes. It's very, very curated, and it's nice to have things like that in your life, Not everything needs to be like, I missed the running dialogue of this infinitely populated Discord server.
Yes. Cool. If there is nothing else, then should we do some ha-has? Because there was a lot of ha-has in this one.
Oh, yeah. Time for some ha-has. Why are you calling me brother, Eric? Why does he have to call me brother?
I completely forgot to write that one down. As we were talking about it just now, I was like, I forgot this was the joke. Look how many times they set it up. It's so good. Especially because last chapter they called her sister Nami.
Yeah. No, it's...
But, in fairness, she also told them not to call her sister.
No, I think it's kind of like an extension onto the joke a little bit. I think it could be. It definitely is, riffing on it to some extent. So I liked it a lot.
I love that one. The next one I like is I'm Luffy, Monkey D. We made our pirate flag yesterday.
It is quite the intimidating way to introduce your crew, right?
It is also just like, I guess you could say that. Like, yeah, it's the truth. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah. No, I like it. I feel like this happened. It's kind of something that characters in a lot of like modern, I feel like Pixar animation do. It's like if you have that kid character that comes out really proud of something that's like obviously kind of embarrassing, but like, they're owning it. Luffy owns it.
Yep,
owns it with honesty.
No, yeah, for sure.
What he won't own with honesty, though, is a whole year.
Yeah.
he was pretty wild when he learned that he had to work for a whole year. And I liked also that he thought he blew off the Chef Zeph's foot.
That is my favorite. That was the joke I was gonna say from this page.
Oh, sorry, I took it from you. Yeah,
no, it's great. I'm glad you brought it up. I like he's like, I blew off your foot, which is I guess, but also, no, man, it's been there for a while.
Hey, Luffy does not, I mean, he eats food, he doesn't know how to navigate, he doesn't know how medicine works, he doesn't know how long it takes to stitch up someone's leg and fix a peg leg.
Yeah, I also love that his friends, quote unquote, are like, he's just too honest. He could have just lied his way through that whole thing, and he did it, which is great. Because I love it, like in one of these panels where they're like, "We got him, chef," and he's like all like a little kid, like he was the one being dragged. Like, come on, Luffy doesn't get dragged, you know? He fessed up, which is like kind of cute because he's still kind of a kid. And then the last one I wrote was... Oh, no, I have a few more. I did laugh pretty hard because I forgot it happens that he missed the... that he misses his balloon.
Oh, misses his balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, you just mean the whole shot. The cannonball goes into the... Yeah. Well, you know what? The thing that worked for me more than the fact he missed was the look on Luffy's face after he misses.
Yeah.
He looks traumatized. He looks like... I mean, I guess he hasn't done maybe as much destruction... Like this is his moment of accidental This is what the superheroes in the Marvel film should feel as they're fighting more often. Luffy felt it, though, right? He was traumatized that he like really hurt this ship that is a bunch of
just
he
innocent
possibly could have
people.
blown off a guy's leg. Yeah. So I dug it.
I also like when he's like, "What's this in my soup?" and he's like, "Something doing a backstroke." I forgot what what the line was, but it was a very snarky.
It's like, what is this fly doing in my in my soup? Like, oh, it looks like he's doing the backstroke.
Yeah,
as far as I can tell,
great.
It's hard to tell though, because he says like, forgive me, sir. It's hard to tell, but it appears to be the backstroke, in regards to what is the fly doing in my soup.
I don't know if Sanji is just so witty in this chapter. I guess it's just how
he's good.
He is. Yeah, and he's a little girl crazy too. I think.
Girl crazy? Oh, because he was kind of going after full bodies.
He doesn't.
Companion.
He doesn't care. He does not care. Those are all the ha's I got. You have any other ha's?
No. I ended with backstroke in mind, so that means if you're ready.
Oh yeah, it's time to shoot cannonballs at each other and not miss.
That's right. We're going to fire some cannonballs back and forth in this episode's panel battle.
Panel battle.
This is where Eric and I, and today especially, any tourists or tour guides out there themselves can throw in a panel, and we put them all next to each other. We look them up and down, head to toe. We look at every single masterpiece from these one-piece panels, and we discuss them. We find out what's the best, and historically, I think we are usually put to shame by all the people that go ahead and send us a line at oh man, I haven't said it in a while, but I feel like I got it. It's just we have it really good. grandlinetourist@gmail.com. Yeah,
yep.
Easy to remember. Classic.
Yeah, name a podcast at gmail.com.
There we go. Very cool. And actually,
did you post you haven't posted yours yet? You know what? We can do
usually I do
then.
post them up beforehand. Yeah. So if you do you have yours there ready?
I do. I just because every time I let you do it on purpose so I can be the one to send. No, I don't want to. I want to send. There we go.
Yes. Okay. What do we got coming in? We have a crash. You returned it to the wrong place, idiot. Oh man, this is a beautiful panel. This is Luffy in full gum balloon. Belly still, deflating. I really the part of this panel I really enjoyed the most actually is Luffy's like shirt. You can kind of see what happens to it when he goes into Gum Balloon. It becomes this little tiny thing at the that just barely covers his belly. You can see the back of his hat, and you see the impact of the misfired balloon in the upper part of the Baratie restaurant. And there's this wonderful kind of shadow from behind look that we're getting at everything that's happening.
Cool.
And
the shadowing is so good.
It is cool. Yeah.
There's one small detail you haven't mentioned that really sold it to me.
Oh, okay. We got the crash. We got it is Zoro's head, right?
It is sweating. Yeah, that's Zoro's head.
Oh no! Is it the teardrop from the mast?
Yes, the merry-go
is that a teardrop?
also sweating.
That's a teardrop, right?
It's
sweating. Oh, sweating out of nervousness.
Out of nervousness.
Because they did something bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, the ship has shown its sentience early on. You know, Mary's spirit is imbued in the. No. That is brilliant. I like that a lot. Very, very nice.
Isn't that cool? Oh my god! When I saw that, I was like, "This has to be my channel, my panel. I have to do this panel." Everything you mentioned is so great. It's just like with the shadowing. I love also they added like the little the spark. You know, the big spark that we got a lot of in the last arc with Usopp, especially when it came to shooting and stuff like that. I think it's just it's cool shorthand for like hitting something or going in a specific area. So
yeah.
So good. It's such a good page. Again, we talk about this all the time with One Piece, which is like hiding the joke in a page turn, right? Because you don't know. Actually, the page before, you have no idea. We all assumed it was going back to the Navy ship. So the fact that we get this beautiful page turn is going somewhere else, awesome. That is just great way of using a page turn to its fullest.
Lovely, lovely stuff. I actually don't know how I'm going to compete. I got to put my panel of shame out here right now.
Oh, I like this panel. Okay. So this is right in the beginning where we don't actually see the Baratie yet, but it's either I forgot which one's who. I think that's
oh yeah, I should have given you the full page. The panel we talked about earlier with the Marigo's head is the one above this one.
Oh, okay. So this is the right
where
after.
You can see. So this is you're getting the reaction shot of having just been shown the Baratie ocean-going restaurant. Yeah.
So I think Usako is the one saying, "What do you think? What a huge fish! Wow, it's cool." I love these panels because the way you read it is kind of the way that you imagine they're saying it in order, but you still get the fun full reaction shot in the beginning, and everybody's mouth's open, but core guy Zolo is still in the back. No,
that's actually a detail I didn't notice until reflecting on it more. It's not the reason I picked this panel. I don't know. Is he worried? Is he got something against the Baratie?
Nah, I just don't think he's really moved by those things. You know, I think he's just too cool for school.
No, fair enough. So the reason it's almost what I liked about this panel is this idea that like Yusaku and Johnny just they kind of are like shepherding these young folk to this like really cool restaurant, right? Like the fact that they look so happy to show off this place that they've been before that has food. And I when I thought of that, for some reason I just really thought of like the first time you show a friend some restaurant you really want to take them to, right? Or like something that's going to be really cool and you know that they're going to have a big reaction to it. And I liked that aspect of this panel, you know.
No, I like that too. It's just kind of like, it's also kind of like a fisheye lensy panel too, you know what I mean? Where it feels like it's bubbling just a little bit in the middle. And they're just so happy to see it. It's kind of like seeing their reaction kind of makes you feel satisfied as a reader of being like, yeah, this thing that we just saw is cool. Like this is a cool
also
location.
Even Nami's excited for food, even though it's usually Luffy and Zoro, you know.
Yeah,
and it is a cool location.
Yeah.
Now, we did have one of our listeners write in to enter the fray. We have Christian's pick for this week, and Christian's pick is the panel that has Sanji holding the bloody full body. How did he do that? I can't wait to see his first fight. So this is, I think it's actually almost the last panel of the chapter. It's third to last, right?
Yeah.
And it's brutal. You got Doom. You have, Sanji, eyes downcast in shadow, smoke coming out of the cigarette that he's smoking. And you just got he's just arm uplifted, holding a bloody iron body, full James. I can never get the name right. Iron.
I love that you can also see it Oda's always very good at character design and stuff like that, but you tend to anchor yourself to specific
You can see the
details.
hand, right?
And you can also see his brass knuckle thing, right? Because we don't know much about Iron Fist full body, but I can tell you he probably uses Iron Fist, and right? And he's probably very proud of what his body can do, which is why he calls himself full body, right? This man is not he is essentially a corpse in the hand of Sanji right now.
Oh, yes. This is like, you thought what happened to Mary was bad back in that other arc.
Nah.
But this is just the same thing, but like he's still holding him in the air,
That's a good.
So
pick,
I think that is
I almost chose
brilliant
it too.
bloody pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, I almost chose your panel too, Eric. This was interesting. I think there's clearly two well chosen panels today, and I decline in shame today.
Hey, your panel's great, and in fact, I think the only proper way is to let you close out today's podcast with the only noise that matters in this episode, which is a fly doing a backstroke in a soup.
I have been swimming a lot more lately as a version of exercise, but I do not do the backstrokes. I will do my best to have the proper swimming technique.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Go ahead. Stroke. 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 Stroke.
Wait, what? You're saying croak?
I'm saying stroke.
Oh, stroke.